Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the series Everything You Need to Know About the Immortal. Today we will be looking into Harald, the Hard Ruler. Very old immortal, still can be useful in the water, especially during the beginning of the games and the mid game. I believe if you're still gonna run with Margaret or Merlin, if you want to run with Merlin, you should be switching him out in my opinion with Ragnar. But if you want to still run with physical water with Margaret, I think Harald is the way to go. And in this video, I will be showing you guys why he can still be usable in the late game. Harald is very easy to obtain. You can obtain him in Harbor for the random fragments. He's popping up in the market quite often. You can summon him in the summoning hall as well. He popped up quite often there as well. And also in the arena. And I believe he might be in the Mysterium, although I didn't write it here because I'm not 100% certain. But he should be coming up there as well as his artifact. And as always, we're gonna need 60 fragments to unlock his immortal, and we're gonna need 960 fragments to unlock his artifact, and we are going to be needing another 2000 to potentially even more to max out his immortal specializations. Now let's take a look at his stats and ultimate skill. Stat wise, Harald is not that bad in my opinion. He and his energy regen is pretty good as well. His attack is pretty strong, and you can see he can do up to 400% damage, which is crazy. And also he can reduce physical defense by 35% into the enemy front row, I would say, because I've noticed that in the backline it doesn't affect them at all. So in the front row he can reduce physical defense and has 55% chance of suffocating them and inflict another damage rate of 300% every 3 seconds for basically 6 seconds, so 2 times at max, right? In my opinion, has a good potential. It was really good immortal back in the days. I know a lot of people, moved away from water. Harald is still pretty good in my opinion. Very cheap immortal as well. He can perform well at the beginning, and in my opinion, he performed well in the against like spiders and stuff like that as well, with the physical defense reduction, which is crazy in my opinion and can be used very, very well. So now let's go take a look in the training ground like we always do and try to highlight his ultimate and show you guys the visual of it and see if the chance of proccing the ultimate is quite good or not. So here his energy regen is a little bit low in my opinion. You can see that Attila is doing way much faster, but you can see there once his ultimate is coming, and you can see that he's sending like a Viking ship, which in my opinion is super cool. And you can see here right there, Viking ship, pretty cool in my opinion. And let's see if he can do like some damage. But as you saw earlier, the damage reduction of enemy team is quite good, and the damage is there. And in my opinion, that can be something we can use towards in terms of like the water march or physical march in general. I would say the only downside of him is that he is an attacking immortal. He could have been super good if he was like a tank immortal or something like that. I think that skill set is very, very strong, and I like it very much. And I think I will be touching, coming back and touching the water march again, like using that again, because some of these immortal tend to have very good skill. It's just that now that we have the better skills available, we can go back to the older marches such as water with Harald to play around that, especially with Margaret maxed out for me. So that's basically it for the visual of the ultimate and showcase of his ultimate as well. Now let's take a look at the artifact. The artifact is very simple for me. You should definitely go for the surge because you want to proc his ultimate as much as possible. And with the artifact, the glacier invasion, his ultimate, reduces target physical defense while reducing their magical defense by 35%. So basically, when your Harald is proccing the physical defense reduction, it will also now count as the magical defense as well, which in my opinion is super good. He's flexible. Unfortunately, that's why he is in water, and you want to go like you have to choose either between you want to have Merlin carry or you want to have Margaret. In my opinion, I want to try physical water march and come back to you guys maybe in a couple of weeks, couple of months after I maxed out pretty much the water 3 for dragon and stuff like that to maximize the how well water can be. Now let's take a look at specializations. In my opinion, Harald should have the Night Spirit or Thought Battle for specialization. I want him to do more attack speed so he can gain more of the energy region so he can proc his ultimate even more faster. I don't think if you want to play him in the breakout, the crit, I don't think it's gonna work. And for me, Final Strike definitely doesn't work in this game that is supposed to be, and the damage output is very low. So I don't really recommend that, except with Thought Battle. That is, in my opinion, the best one for Harald. Now let's take a look at the skills for Harald. In my opinion, I picked this skill set because I want to play around his damage reduction and how good he can be with that, and I don't want him to be the main damage dealer because that's not his job. So I put assembly charge to reduce physical damage and or increase damage taken to enemies. Also same with Despairing Pain, and also I put Void Realm is just because I want him to survive a little bit longer. He doesn't have to do a lot of damage like I said. So I think this skill is pretty good to get him more a little bit tanky, at least for the first 20 seconds. And of course, if you're meeting teams like hybrid teams, I think Toxin Barrier is pretty good. And also I have Chaos Storm in case if you want to use him in, for example, as a support role for example, Merlin or Margaret. I think either one is going to be good with the Chaos Storm because they reduce damage of both magic and physical. As a free-to-play, I'm probably going to do, the Aura with the Berserk. I think that's going to be quite good as well. Or if not Berserk, if you want to use him with, Weakness Aura, you can do that as well. And if you want to use Sustain, I think that's the best way to go is either Physical Shield, and if you want to go with, Fighting Master, you can definitely do that so you can proc his ultimate pretty much and every, I would say 6-7 seconds, which is pretty good as well. It's quite like set up for your other teammates to do even better. And the Oaken Guard you can replace with Resist if you want, but it really depends who you're facing. And now let's take a look in the game how it looks like. So in the game, if I were to play around Harald, I would probably Fufei. If you don't have Fufei available, you can use the Artemisia. I think she's gonna do well there as well. Now that you play around Margaret, I think both of them, both Attila, both Harald, gonna be very good damage reduction dealers for Margaret. So Margaret can just basically spitting out damage, and actually gonna see right now when we're fighting the same team as we did in the training ground earlier in this video, and now we have a full team and see how it actually looks like. The damage wise, I think is pretty good. It would be pretty decent to see like how Margaret does, because now he's shield, now he's frozen. See if he can shield. There we go. Now I like the damage a lot, so I have always been interested and invested in water mods. Although it haven't been good for a couple of years now, I think it's very interesting for the nostalgic purposes. I think it's very good, and you can see here. I think the only reason why Harald is doing this much damage is because I have artifact on him, his gear and stuff like that. So he's doing good, he's doing well. It's not that, I would say it's not that bad, I would say. It's I struggle to find word how to describe it, but if I were to describe Harald, is if you do get an upgrade in terms of like optimization with energy regen speed, with better stats a little bit, and because the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate is very good. The wild corrosion, if the ultimate become like, for example, let's show you guys right here real quick. Right there, Harald. If Harald have the suffocate percentage up to maybe 60-65%, I think that can be very, very interesting immortal. And I think a lot of people will still use him even more than what he's being used right now. He's a very good starter immortal, decent mid immortal, a mid game, and in late game, people tend to, move away from water, but every now and then I came back to water just to check it out how it actually do now. And in this video, I hope I managed to show you guys the opportunity for Harald if you get some optimizations. But for now, I don't think after showcasing and testing him in arena, in the training ground, I don't think there's no point in testing him in arena PvP because Harald is not up to date. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video about Harald. I hope I managed to cover everything. He has potential. He needs optimizations. He's very old immortal, and he definitely needs some help with the specialization stuff. That's going to be very good for him as well. So yeah, that's it about Harald. Thanks you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.